Well, today's episode, we're going to keep this with only a short one with two reviews only. First one we're going to be reviewing is MLW Fusion with 158. This one features, of course, a tag team match with the Samoan SWAT Team, Lance and Juicy Finau, taking on a team called La NX. Hopefully I pronounce it right. And of course, we have EJ Nduka in action. And then finally, we have the MLW World Middleweight Championship on the line. And then finally, we have Impact Wrestling. As you know, certain things are taking place. We're getting closer and build up all the way to Hard to Kill. But however, there's certain things that took place. As you know, Josh Alexander comes back after still dealing with the traumatic effect of what happened at Overdrive when Bully Ray attacked him and his wife, and many other variables to be discussed. Also, we got some news updates regarding certain things like, for example, Sasha Banks, GCW updates, and many more. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome, everybody, to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay right here. So, let's begin with MLW Fusion with number 158. Now, it opened up with Willie Mack making his presence at the commentary table. He was scouting this particular match that has La Anexion, consisting of um, Angel Fashion and Mark Davidson, where they take on the Samoan SWAT team, Lance Noy and Juicy Finau, being accompanied by none other than Jacob Fatu. Now, the only reason this match was booked, according to what commentators are saying, no tag team are willing to step in the same ring with these guys, so they had to find a team that is brave enough to do so. So, looks more like Anexion got what they wanted. There were some moments where we did see the Samoan SWAT team were in full control of the match, but however, due to their size, sometimes their size can be used as an advantage for the opposite team. However, that did not take the case, but it took a big Samoan splash by Lance Anoa'i onto Angel Fashion that finished off the match in their favor. However, in post match, they were, as you know, Fatu commented about how it would be in a dream to see Finau and Lance win the tag team toss. But however, he does have his one thing in mind, which is the MLW World Championship, which he never cashed in his rematch clause thanks to Cesar Duran. But however, he did bump into saw Willie Mack. Seems that these two guys go way back, and basically they seem like they decided to challenge each other into a match, which is good. They feel like they're going to take this back old school way, and that's nothing wrong with it. So it has. We may see that match take place next year on 2023 in January. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, Bumaye Fight Club, as you know, they've been trying to make the statement forever time. However, we do know, according to what commentators are saying, Alex Kane and his lawyers refused to give back the uppercut. But however, Alex Kane sent out a message saying that um, Mr. Thomas is tearing it up in Thailand, beating the crap of everybody. And of course, he is trash talking Shun Skywalker, calling him Shun Trashwalker, knowing that he is not going to beat the GOAT. However, there was an interruption by, of course, Davey Richards. As you know, he hasn't forgotten how things have gone with him, not to mention, and all this and that. But he did say he was training with someone. We don't know who, but we will find out. Now, as you know, things have gone a little chaotic in MLW. Ever since Cesar Duran, we know there's been a lot of corruption, a lot of mismanagement and all this. However, because of the recent event, Cesar Duran decided to walk away from MLW when the recent attacks of this calling card forced him to leave. Whatever Court Bauer said to him, it appears that Cesar Duran walked out. We don't know the extent of what their talk was about, but it does seem like maybe Cesar Duran is not happy with things have been going, and now same thing with Court Bauer. So we will see more of that storyline taking place. Now, as you know, recently for the past couple weeks, we have been seeing Mance Warner, the Southern Psycho, calling out Max Kruger and all this and that. But Max Kruger is no idiot. He has been hearing and listening, but of course, his message is loud and clear that he probably say, "Be careful what you wish for." So we don't know what Max Kruger's having planned, but you can tell that he has something in store for Mance Warner if he continues to antagonize him. Now, our next match, we have Sultan de Aire taking on EJ Nduka. Now, you can guess that this match ended with the Nduka bomb giving the win. However, he was about to do a promo, but Alexander Hammerstone, our current MLW World Heavyweight Champion, comes out. As you know, he hasn't forgotten all the beating that Nduka has been calling out. Now, Nduka has been accusing Alex Hammerstone, saying he's been ducking him the entire time. I don't think that was the case. I think it's because, as you know, Hammerstone has been dealing with a lot, not to mention with Caesar, Richard Holiday, anybody who's been trying to get his attention. That's always been the problem. Other people stepped in, and now he and Nduka feels that he got his attention. Things got a little out of control. Now, there was a moment where we did see Jacob Fatu where he was about to cash in his golden ticket. However, he hold that because during the brawl between Nduka and Hammerstone, it got a little chaotic. There was blood involving, so and Fatu does not want to make that, so he's gonna hold on to that golden ticket. Now, our main event, we have the MLW World Middleweight Championship. We have Myron Reed being accompanied by Alex Kane, taking on Shun Skywalker, but to our surprise, Richard Holiday was there. Now, the entire time of the commentary, Alex Hammerstone was accusing of Davey Richards of being a manipulative person. He feels that Shun Skywalker is being humiliated, being manipulated, and of course, he continued to call him Trash Walker. But Shun Skywalker, who's been 6 years as a pro wrestler, he has won many belts. He is the youngest world champion we have seen so far. Minority, we can agree that he is one of the best middleweight champions, but when it comes to Shun Skywalker, that's a different story. But it was a magistral by Shun Skywalker that pinned Myron Reed to become our brand new MLW World Middleweight Champion. And this stunned, of course, the Bumaye Fight Club. They probably questioned how can they let this happen. Well, here's the thing. Shun Walker didn't need this. And of course, Skywalker got what he wanted to prove him a different point. But the real question is, where do we go from here? Who will be the upcoming challengers against Shun Skywalker for his MLW World Middleweight Champion? Or will Myron Reed cash in a rematch clause? That is yet to be seen, but we will find out more about this soon enough in the upcoming weeks. And I think that's pretty much it what we have for MLW. So let's move on to our final review, Impact Wrestling. All right, Impact Wrestling. As you recall what happened last week, we saw the demise of Eric Young. It appears that now Diener is the new leader. But now instead of being called Violent by Design, he calls it The Design. He's currently has in his crew the Allen Angels and Big Con. However, Diener has a few things that he mentioned that he doesn't feel the Design is a faction or group or anything. He feels it's a movement. But apparently, he has some unfinished business with Sami Callihan, and that match will take place. So Diener decided to send his big dog, of course, Khan, to deal with him. So we will see that match a little bit later. Now, our opening match is the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team titles. We have our current New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team champions, the Motor City Machine Guns, taking on our current Impact Wrestling World Tag Team champions, Heath and Rhino. Now, keep in mind, this particular match, as you know, Rhino and Heath made their promise that they were going to give the Motor City Machine, the Guns, an opportunity if they were able to dethrone Honor No More. And they did. The match was pretty good. It was amazing. But however, the match was ruined by the major players who believed that those titles belonged to them. They kind of ruined it all for everyone. So referee called it no contest. So however, it did announce that they're going to have part two of this match next week. So it was announced on that later when I saw this whole thing. So that's a good thing. Now, as you know, a couple weeks ago we saw what happened at in Overdrive with Josh Alexander. He decided to take some time off, but the question is he 100% focused due to the fact that he asked Scott D'Amore his blessing that he needs to do things his way. Now, he did confess he has been listening to people saying not to trust Bully Ray, but he did state it. I wasn't thinking about him. And that says a lot. But now he feels that this has have gone personal between both of them. So, Scott D'Amore gave him his blessing to do what he needed to do. And we will see that a little bit later. Now, as you know, we have seen what's going to happen at Hard to Kill. Jordan Grace issued a challenge to Mickey James. As you know, Mickey James survived once again the last rodeo against Deonna Purrazzo. But the real question is Mickey James going to be the one to dethrone Jordan Grace for the Impact Knockouts World title? Or will Grace be the one to force her to retire? That's still an open question, but we will see what happens then. Our next match, we have Savannah Evans and Tasha Steelz. Now, recently, Steelz and Evans have not been in a good place due to the recent loss they suffered at Overdrive for the Knockouts Tag Team titles. But Savannah has a chance to rectify that match when she challenged Taya Valkyrie, being accompanied by the Death Dolls. This match was more of a pound for pound, no interference from outside. But however, it was Savannah Evans with the full Nelson slam onto um, Taya Valkyrie to finish off 1, 2, 3, good night. But however, does this mean does Evans and Steelz do get another opportunity for the Knockouts Tag Team titles? I feel like they do have an opportunity, but the real question is, will this take place at Hard to Kill in January? We will find out in the upcoming weeks. Now, we do see clips of the current Bullet Club members in Impact, Chris Bay and Austin. Is Austin, as you know, they're currently successful. Right now, they're at the top of their game. They're in 12 points. There are one of 5 teams that could potentially win. So we will see what happens then. As much as I covered the whole thing with the best of the Super Junior Tag League, that's a different thing. So we will find out more. Now, in the backstage area, we see Moose attacking Bhupinder Gurjar. As you know, last time, Gurjar lost into a match, and then he helped Joe Hendricks to deal with Moose. However, Moose sent a direct message to Joe Hendricks for what happened. So we will see what happens. Will Joe Hendry respond to what happened? We will find out. Now, last week we saw Delirious in the face of Eddie Edwards. It appears that Delirious has some unfinished business with Eddie Edwards, and he's calling him out. It appears that match is going to take place next week. It was supposed to happen today, but due to the main event that took place, it caused it to go into a later date. Now, our next match, we have Khan along with the Design Diener and Alan Angels taking on Sami Callihan. Now, Callahan said to everybody that he thought he got rid of these guys. However, this is not the same group that he has been dealing with for the past couple of weeks. This is a new group with the new design. However, it appears that design has now finally come into fruition. Alan Angels provided a distraction for the referee, while Diener deals with, of course, Sammy Callahan, but Callahan was taken out by Khan when I think he might have applied like a somewhat of a Death Valley driver, and boom, 1, 2, 3. But you can tell this is far from over between Callahan and the design. Now we do see an interview with Trey Miguel. Now recently we have seen a new attitude with Trey Miguel. Ever since he won the X Division title back a week ago, he defiled it by spray painting it. And then during the BTI event, he defeated one of his proteges. I forgot his name, and he also painted him. But Gio Miller wanted to tell him, does he really? Does she think? Does he doesn't understand that he defiled the towel? This is something that he did not like to hear. He was about to spray her, but luckily, Crazy Steve was there. So it looks more like it's a possibility we're gonna see a match between Crazy Steve and Trey Miguel for the X Division title. That is something I'm looking forward to see down the line. Now, originally we saw Josh Alexander come out. He did a promo and he called out Bully Ray. He's issuing an open challenge match for the Impact World Championship. However, he did state if he beat him this particular night, he does get an opportunity. So he's been calling him out. But however, Bully Ray once again playing mind games with Josh Alexander, talking about the way he scared his wife and all this other stuff. However, he said he had no time for this. He said, I called my shot. I'm taking it hard to kill. However, we do see um, Mike Bailey comes out. He decided to accept the challenge. And of course, Josh Alexander decided to call the ref. So this match, I have to say, what a great match. It went up to almost an hour or so. I have to say it was an instant classic in every possible way. You can tell there were many moves that they were trying to pull. The ankle lock by Josh Alexander, the flamingo driver, everything. But it took almost an hour for this match to go through. But everybody were in suspense in this particular match, including myself. But it only took two C4 spikes by Alexander to put away Mike Bailey and retain the title. But now his sole focus is on Bully Ray till we get to Hard to Kill. So that will be his main focus. I have to say it was a pretty good main event. I loved it. It was durable. So I think that's pretty much it for Impact Wrestling. I believe it's time to move on to our final thing, news updates. Okay, welcome to our news updates. As you know, you may have been hearing what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. Mercedes Vernado, also known as Sasha Banks, has been making headways recently. There's been talk about her making her appearance at New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th. Now, there's a lot of speculations on what people believe. Now, there's certain things I like to say. We don't know what's the situation with her at this point. We do know WWE are trying to get her back after she walked out a couple months ago, and there was talks about negotiation of a new deal with WWE. However, that negotiation is still did not pan through. We don't know for sure if she's still with WWE or she's a free agent. Now, let's talk about that with the WWE side, if she is still with us. We know many people would say this would be a perfect opportunity for New Japan Pro Wrestling and WWE. Many of you WWE loyalists would say that, this is the real Forbidden Door. But, however, there's been talk about this. Many people could say that would this benefit New Japan Pro Wrestling? Well, we won't know. However, as people would say, could this be like something similar to what we saw with Jericho? As you remember, Jericho was still employed by WWE when he challenged Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom back in 2018, I believe. And I think that was the point that happened. So if you remember, that was a classic match too. But I would say that was the case. But There's a different scenario I do play. As you know, there is the possibility she could be the free agent, but this is what I do see. As you know, Sasha Banks and Kyrie do know each other. The way I would see it is this: if Kyrie retained the title against Tam Nakano, this is the scenario I'm playing right now. If she, if Kyrie retained the title from Tam Nakano, then there's a possibility we could see Mercedes Vernado become the next challenge. So I think there's that. I even explained this to a friend of mine earlier in the day, and he understood. He sees that scenario. But I'm asking all of you, my viewers out there, do you guys believe that's the scenario that could be played? I would say yes, that could happen. But we don't know yet. Until that, till then, we just gotta wait and see. And better buckle up. Now, for our GCW updates, we have tons of stuff that's been announced. We're gonna do this in order. On the 30th of December for the Till Infinity show, the match has been announced for between John Wayne Murdoch to take on Sawyer Wreck. Now, two matches have been announced for the New Year's Day on the 1st of January of 2023. We have Matt Tremont taking on my boy Hunter Freeman. Then there's going to be a four-way match between Maki Ito, Sawyer Wreck, Dark Sheik, and Billy Starks. That's going to be a good one. Then on the 7th of January for the event in Chicago, Save Me, it was announced there's going to be Cold Roderick versus Aries. That's going to be also a very good match. And then there's interesting developments taking place for an upcoming event for the Charlotte event. Don't Talk to Me that will take place on the 20th of January. They announced the sign of they booked the verbal assassin Chan Payne Marty Gardner, and this will be his debut event. Now I don't know who he is, but I'm kind of curious to see what he can bring to GCW when it comes in. Then on the 21st, the following day, we have Take a Picture. It's the new show that will be presented at Huntsville, Alabama. So that's the new name. We don't know yet who will be participating, so stand by on that. And finally, for as you know, we got the Jersey J Cup taking place on the 11th of February. A 14th entrance has been announced, and that is none other than Billy Stark. So that's going to be really interesting. So we will continue more on GCW on the next episode. Now we'll continue more with our news updates. Um, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla has announced for their 15th entrant in the Battle of Los Angeles. We have the Bandit, Bandito, taking place. I'm excited that he's back. I know he's going to do great. Now, finally, our last update. This one is a very interesting one. Now, as you know, recently I've been reviewing New Japan Pro Wrestling, the World Tag League, and the Super Junior Tag League, but I never watched the matches that are happened before those. However, this past event, Minoru Suzuki had something to say. That's something that's going to happen in Sendai next week. This is what he had to say. In Sendai, I reveal it all. Don't dare to take your eyes off Suzuki-gun. What is Minoru Suzuki planning? Well, we know Minoru Suzuki is sadistic. We know he can do a lot of things. So I'm kind of curious what he has planned. I'm sure every fan, I'm a fan of Minoru Suzuki. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen. I can't wait to see what Murder Grandpa has in store for all of us. So we just got to wait and see. So I think that's pretty much it for our news updates. I believe it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have more coming up on New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I believe we're doing World Tag League. We'll see what's going to happen because I did find out that one of the matches is going to feature who is the best Australians. We're talking about TMDK versus Aussie Open. That's going to be one killer match. We also got, of course, AEW Rampage. I'm excited for the match for Konosuke Takeshita versus John Moxley and many other things. I believe we're also going to have NXT Level Up. I'm excited for that too to see who levels up on that particular day. And if there's any news updates taking place, I will be reviewing, talking about those two as well. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day.